Hello and welcome to TOD Rolls Dice, where we're doing something slightly different today. There's no reveal shows, there's no fancy new products to show off. In fact, some of the products we're going to be looking at are over 20 years old. But I thought it would be fun with... Admittedly, this might not be the best time to be doing this video with how it looks for Games Workshop and Warhammer supplies and stock issues. But I thought we'd take a look. The day after the Armies of Middle-earth book has officially been released. Yes, I believe the Match Playbook physical book is still out of stock, so I guess that's to be expected. But I thought that we'd take a look at the Middle-earth model range. We'll run through each of the three films, good and evil. Don't know how long this video is going to be because I've only just started recording, but I thought that we'd skim through, we'd have a little look, we'd touch on some models. I've been very critical of some of the sculpts recently in my last few videos. Thorin's Company is a big one, the plastic one, not the resin. I haven't really looked at the resin one. And the Fellowship of the Ring. I thought, oh, I'll just check. Are they really as bad as I made out in the last Middle-earth video? Yeah, they're also out of stock. The biggest heroes of each of those two trilogies of movies. And they have been out of stock for a long time, last time I checked. So I thought, on a Sunday the 15th of June, as I say, the day after the Armies and the Match Play Guide have been released. I believe the Armies of Middle-earth book is still in stock, so that is a plus. But I thought we'd go through the model range and see, now that all of the rules are out and we have the legacies as well, so while they're not selling those products, which is sad, they're not even doing a made to order, but we have, as far as I'm aware, up to the 15th of June 2025, rules for every unit that has a model or has a model coming. And I'll caveat that that's probably going to be a separate video when we talk about what we know is coming and what's missing. Because there are some profiles that don't have models. Big, heroic profiles. But I need to do a bit more research into that one. But I just thought we'd have a look at what the actual model range is now. 7 months, about 7 months into this new edition of Middle-earth strategy battle game. Many of you will probably be familiar with this. You've got Kill Team Typhon, the big highlight, I suppose, for this pre-order window on Saturday just gone. Yes, it sold out very quickly. We'll jump over to Middle-earth, and you have various different options here. The pre-orders, the Oathbreaker, I think it was, the Dunland character, went up for pre-orders. I believe he sold out on Saturday as well. That's great. I like that Middle-earth stuff is selling out. All of the stuff is sold out, to be honest. But we're going to go through each of these. Now we're going to start off War of the Rohirrim, the newest film, the newest models. We'll do that last. We'll start off with the Hobbit. We'll do it in... yeah, we'll start off with the Hobbit. Oh, I don't like the Hobbit range. Let's get the negative out of the way. And we'll kick off with good. I'm not going to break them down into factions or anything like that, but we're just going to run through and see what we have, what's in stock. Hopefully it gives you guys an idea, you know, if you're thinking of building armies and things, but you're not 100% sure of the range or what have you. Hopefully it'll give you some sort of idea. So let's run through this. This is Middle-earth, The Hobbit, Forces of Good. In no particular order other than what they show here. So I'm not going to click on each of these individually. We're not going to talk about them individually. I'm not talking about the rules. We're just having a little browse. Lake Town Captains, they don't look too bad actually. Legolas and Tauriel. So Tauriel is a bit of a contentious character. I'm going to click on it. They're 40 quid. They have to be resin. Yeah. Highly detailed resin kits. It might just be the paint job. I think Legolas looks rubbish, honestly. Yeah, I mean, these aren't new miniatures, right? So they're 10, 15 years old. When did Hobbits come out? They was about 10 years after Lord of the Rings, wasn't it? Yeah, not a fan. You can find much nicer Legolas sculpts. Young Thorin, Balin, Dwalin, they're in stock, so some of Thorin's company is in stock. Mirkwood Captains. I know there's 3 models in there, but 20, they're resin as well. Okay, so is most of the Hobbit, are they resin? I'm trying to just find a benchmark of their resin. Lake Town Captains are metal, yes? Resin. Is the Hobbit range resin? Not ideal. Gandalf the Grey with the car. This is the Lord of the Rings Gandalfs that you can use in both because it's the same character, obviously. Gandalf the Grey. 52.50 for 3 different varieties of Gandalf the Grey. Pricey. Radagast the Brown. You don't get the eagle, but you can have him riding the eagle. He's not the worst model, I have to say. He's resin, isn't he? Yeah, resin. Okay. I'm going to work on the basis then that the Hobbit characters are all resin. But Radagast is there, Gandalf is there. Warriors of Erebor, they're in stock. Warriors of Dale, they're in stock. Nice. You can do some, or you should be able to do some really cool things with Dale and that northern eastern edge with dwarves and men for the Third Age in the Armies of book, which we'll hopefully touch on this week. Palace Guard. They are plastic. I just don't like them. And I think some of it is it's just the design of the characters in the film. The Lords of Erebor. They're in stock. The Master of Lake Town and Alfred. Yeah, Mirkwood Elves. Yeah, loads of elves here. Lake Town Warband. Militia Warband. The Goat Riders, I don't remember these, they're definitely resin. I don't think the lighting helps for these pictures either, let's be honest. They're expensive for 3. And they are resin, but you know what? I think they look pretty good. Weirdly, I like those. Very weirdly. But the Bowman, he's going to be resin at those prices. I would like to see a better Bard, I think, for such a pivotal and great character in the books. I'd like to see better. Armoured Cavalry. Bjorn and the Bear. This is a stunning model. I really like Bjorn. Not sure about the bear, actually. I mean, still, this website doesn't have pictures. Some pictures are just broken. Amazing. Yeah, I'm not a lover of this website, I'll be honest. But that's okay. We have Riddles in the Dark. Yeah, nice. I think, again, the Lord of the Rings models have better columns. Lister, Thunderwheel. I don't like this model either. I think the face is all wrong. Not that expensive though. To be fair, I know it's only one model, but that's not bad. We have another Bard. That's a much better Bard. He will be resin. Yeah. But I think that pose, that model, is really nice. They've done him justice there. I haven't got the Armies of the Hobbit book, so I don't know if they're different. Ah, now we're getting to the out of stock stuff. There's a lot of it. Okay. Iron Hills Warriors, out of stock. Bjornings, out of stock. They're a stunning kit as well. I have seen those in the packaging. The detailing is beautiful. Yes, they're resin. They're just great. Incredible models. About half the range, by the looks of it, is about a third of the range is out of stock. It's not a great start for the Hobbit, is it? Grimbjorn's a stunning model as well, and that is a proper cool bear. That's a really, really nicely done model. Love that model. And I love that bear. That's so cool. Beyondings, on the whole, they have good models. The Windlance is out of stock, Dale Commanders are out of stock, Captains of Erebor. So Kingbrand and Bard II of Dale, these are the characters that you will use in, during the time of the War of the Ring. So this is Third Age stuff. There'll be an army list and rules for these characters in the armies of Middle-earth. Really nice sculpts. Probably why they're out of stock. Knights of Dale, Dane Ironfoot. These will be resin. They look pretty good. Dane and Thorin III. Yeah, they're resin. I don't know why I'm checking, it's pretty obvious. They look really good though. I love the axe. And the shield. Yeah, they're strong. They're nice. That's War of the Ring as well, isn't it? Yeah, that's them during the time for, so end of the Third Age. When the Battle of the Black Gate, Pelennor Fields, all that stuff is going on, these are the characters you'll be using up in the north. I mean, look how much is out of stock. Dane of 5 armies, out of stock. Champions of Erebor, so these are like the fully evolved form, armoured up 5 armies dwarves of Thorin's company. Why is this kit resin? Why is this kit almost £90 when it's key characters from the movie? Why? There is no excuse for this not to have been plastic, in all honesty, or to have been redone in plastic when they were thinking of doing this new version. Thorin's company. So this is the On the Way to the Lonely Mountain. Oh, and half the pictures are broken as well. Bilbo doesn't look great. Gandalf's passable. I don't think that they're very good. Some of them are okay, some of them look okay. But these are plastic, they're still, it's one sprue, I would assume. Yeah, it's going to be one sprue, it's almost 40 quid. £37 through Games Workshop for the main characters of the Hobbit trilogy, and they have been out of stock for the last however long, however many weeks. They need a refresh. This is what I'm saying. This is why I wanted to do this. It's a bit of fun. I'm poking fun at GW, but I'm actually interested to see just how bad some of these models are. And this is completely like how I see it. You will see it differently. That's fine. That's good. But I think a lot of this stuff is just looking. It didn't look great to start with, and it's just not aged well. So the Grimhammers will be the heavily armoured dwarves, yeah. I mean, they look good. They look fine. What are they? Plastic? Yeah, they're plastic. Yeah, 3150, they're plastic. They look okay. Mirkwood Rangers I've never liked, but they're not terrible. There's something a little off about them, but they're not the worst. I think some of it is the pictures just not doing them justice. I bet these actually look quite nice. They're plastic, yeah. I bet they look quite nice in the flesh. Legolas and Tariel are the cheaper versions. I think the second Hobbit movie sculpts, they will be plastic as well at 23, yes? Yeah, multi-part plastic. They're not great. She's better, that's the best Tariel. But the Hobbit Legolases, and you can use any Legolas. But the Hobbit Legolases are naff, I have to say. I don't even remember who Hilda and Percy are. Bard's family. Look at those faces. Is that really what we're going with? And the resin? Crossbows, dwarven crossbows. I mean, all of this is just out of stock. To no one's surprise ever. A lot of the Iron Hills stuff is out of stock because I think there's a lot of people wanting to do Iron Hills. Certainly with this new army book coming in, you'll have access to a lot of units that will bring in Iron Hills dwarves and things. So this is a cool model. This is Thranduil on his elk. Really, really cool model. I mean, for 50 quid you'd want it to be pretty cool, wouldn't you? But it's just a nice diorama piece as well. So I do like that. Character series. The Hobbit character series. Have they done anything with any other characters? Have we had a character series since? Multi-part resin. But this is the kind of thing, they do it with characters from the Horus Heresy, they do it with the Primarchs. When they really put the time and the effort into designing a cool resin model, they knock it out the park. Some of the new Primarchs for Heresy look amazing. And yeah, this is a brilliant model. Don't want to know how expensive it is in other countries, to be honest. Shipping would be crucifying. But that's done really well, and to run around with the elk on the game board, I think that would work really, really nicely. So, for the Hobbit, of 43 models in the range, so we have 22 models of 43. Okay, so it's 50% that's out of stock. Okay, that might not be too bad, but I'd argue a lot of this that's out of stock. The Bjornings don't. But a lot of this that's out of stock, I would love to see redone in not resin. Plastic would be great. I don't know how you do it with Knights of Dale and characters. They're obviously... Well, characters they can do in plastic. Prince Imril. A lot of the characters from War of the Rohirrim. Amazing. Absolutely stunning. It's just not... For me, and I am very jaded by the Hobbit films. I was very disappointed with the Hobbit films. And I just... I don't think this is a great looking range. I think some of it is really nice. I think some of it is passable. I didn't realise how much of it was resin. But I suppose 10, 15 years ago, would we be potentially looking at for these releasing? That's kind of what they were working in. A lot of this needs a refresh. And as someone who wants refreshed Lord of the Rings stuff, I'd actually say do the Hobbit first. Because a lot of this needs love. And the fact... I'm going to bang on about this, and we're going to talk about it when we get to Lord of the Rings as well. But the fact that the main characters... One, are that expensive. I didn't realise they were £37. But the fact that they are so naff looking on the whole, and out of stock, and have been out of stock for so long, and that's a wider Games Workshop problem. We could look at any other range, and a lot of it will be out of stock right now. But when you're pushing this, you've just, in the last 6 months, you've taken your time, you've got the final army book out, you've done the legacies rules, yeah. They're not called legends, they're called legacies. When you've done all that stuff, to then have the things that will draw new people into the hobby out of stock for so long, it's not a good look, and it's not a good move. So that's the Hobbit of good. Now let's take a look at the evil side of things. I'm expecting a lot of this to be resin as well. Nazgul of Dol Guldur, they're resin. 100 and... fuck off. 124 quid. Okay, it's 9 hero models. In resin. Models that are now, actually, I didn't realise this was them. I didn't realise they'd done this. Maybe not all of them. Some of these models, I think, have gone to Legends. Or maybe it's the older sculpts. Wow, insane price. Bolg is new. I don't like the new sculpt. I didn't like the old sculpt, I don't like the new sculpt. Spiders are too expensive. That's insane. Orc hunters. I think some of these issues is the pictures. Some of the poses are a bit wonky, but you know, they're not bad. They look pretty good. No, they're not bad at all. I don't mind these. The goblins just look naff, but it's not Games Workshop's fault. It's not the sculptor's fault. It's the design. Just don't connect with it. Goblin mercenaries, they're resin. Why are they resin? I mean look at the lighting on that picture. It's just blowing out all the detail. I mean, this is the other thing with this website. Gundabad Troll. Again, it's resin. It's almost 80 quid. I don't think it looks that good. If I saw it in the flesh, no. Looking at the resin pictures, no. But a lot of this, I accept that they are stuck with because of the design of the film. I think Azog is just a naff design as well. He is the main villain in the film. And he is resin. The sculpts actually are very close to the look of the character. I just think it's a naff design. We're going to come back to Smaug. The bats are okay. They're nothing special, are they? You can find better bats in AOS. Orc hunters on wargs. The wargs look pretty good. I'm just not sold on these orcs. I quite liked the other ones, the on foot ones, but these, just not so much. That one, I just don't know what's going on. In the last 10 years, Games Workshop have done so much really good work with their posing and making dynamic looking models. There's not so much of that here, sadly. This is one of my favourite Sour models. I think this is a really nice model. He's metal, yes? Yeah, he's metal. And he comes in 2 pieces. Oh, then we're getting to the out of stock. Actually, there's not a lot out of stock here. The trolls are pretty nice. I do like these. This is probably my favourite scene. This website keeps crashing as well. This is probably my favourite scene in all of the 3 films. But Tom, Bill and Bert, the trolls, I think they look pretty good. All told. I mean, it's interesting shots for close-ups. I'll give them that. But I like these. I wouldn't want to pay 55 quid for them, but they'll be resin. Oh, they're plastic. Why are they 55 quid then? I don't like this as well. I don't like the Goblin King model. We've touched on this with the scenarios video we did. But again, that's a design of the film. That's not a Games Workshop design. Yeah, it's okay. I think 34 quid for the Goblin King is potentially reasonable. He's plastic. Yeah, he's plastic. I think you can get away with that price. I think anymore when you're pushing it. Gundabad Orc Warband at 57 quid. They're going to be resin. Yeah, they shouldn't be resin. These should have been plastic. And they don't look terrible, in all honesty. But they should never be resin. Ruins we're not going to talk about, we're going to skip terrain. Heat-proof the dungeons, I don't even remember. That's quite a nice model. For a resin character, I think that's reasonably priced. You can see there's a lot of detail going on. A lot of furs and things. That's not bad, actually. The other Gundabad troll, 78 quid for a troll is hilarious. We're still waiting on the resin catapult troll. coming out, aren't we, that was announced a while ago. The Troll Brute for 100 quid. I like that you get the option for different riders, but is it a great model? I suppose the question is it a great design? It's not a design I love. And they've actually done an Orc upgrade set. Okay, I didn't know that they did this stuff. These are always silly money, I think, for what you get, but their resin prices have always been mad. Felwargs are out of stock. That's probably down to the army book coming out. There's quite a few armies where you can use Felwargs on their own, and I would, I'd guess that they're plastic. Doesn't actually say, but 25 components makes me think that they're plastic. 6 wargs, 2150. I think you can maybe argue that that's okay. Top end of okay, but okay. The problem with a lot of this stuff is it is online only through GW. So you have to pay these prices if you want these characters. But their pricing is a whole other story. This model, Smaug. I don't know how many people have bought it. I don't know if anybody's ever used it as a game. It is a big old chunk of resin. It is expensive. But it is also incredibly cool. I like that this is included in the game. And the detailing looks fantastic. Or the treasure, Bilbo. I mean, Bilbo doesn't look great. But that is just a cool model. So I'll give them credit for that as well. There's not that much in the evil range, is there? 27 models or products. One of them's terrain. Only a handful of them are out of stock. That's not as bad as I thought it was. Maybe not many people are playing Good and Bad Orcs. Or they already have this stuff. I don't know. I think the Hobbit is a tougher sell. I don't think the models look anywhere near as good as the Lord of the Rings stuff. But I also think it's a tougher sell just because the movies didn't land quite as well. Right, so that's not bad actually. A lot of it is in stock, and the evil range, probably goblins aside and Azog aside, they're actually pretty good sculpts. And when you think about the design of the characters to the sculpts, I think that these are better. Nazog and Fimbul, they're not bad. They're not bad. Nice, yeah, nice looking. I mean, Azog and Bolg are the two that, and Goblin Warriors, I think, are the products that I just don't connect with. The other stuff actually looks pretty good. Certainly sculpt-wise. Design choice, that's a problem with the film that I have. But they're okay. So let's have a look at War of the Rohirrim. No, let's not. Let's do Lord of the Rings. This is where it all started. We're going to go with good first, then we'll go into evil, then we'll go into War of the Rohirrim, because that'll be quick. I don't mind that they've labelled up some of these pictures Armies of Middle-earth, so you know where the rules are. I think that's pretty good, but then do it with all the other models and say which book they're in as well. Minor nitpick aside, and I'm not going to talk about the battle hosts, but the Rohan battle host has just disappeared because the warriors were out of date, they were changed, and there just isn't a new Rohan battle host 6-7 months in, which is ridiculous. But hey, it's Games Workshop. So, Fellowship of the Ring. I bang on about these models so much. These are plastic. This is, I believe, the second run of Fellowship of the Ring models in plastic. The first ones that were metal, done 2001, that was the first box of Games Workshop stuff I ever bought. Absolutely incredible sculpts, purely because I'm nostalgic for them. But these models, let's look at these. I wonder when this came out actually. Doesn't say. I do wonder how new these are. Maybe the sprue will tell us. No, sprue doesn't tell us anything. I mean, that's the sprue. It's not a great looking sprue, is it? But this is everybody. You've got Sam. Sam actually looks okay. Frodo poses fine. It's just the face. Merry and Pippin with rocks in their hands I can get behind, but again I just don't think they're great poses. Gimli's Gimli. We'll get to the Three Hunters, but I don't think it's great. And that Legolas is just a travesty. I'm sorry. Whoever sculpted it, I apologise for ripping your work to pieces. I know what you're trying to do with him not looking where he's shooting, but also it just hasn't come off. It looks really silly. I hate that Boromir so much. And the face is just naff. Aragorn just looks... Yeah, I don't get the pose. I really don't get the pose. The face is terrible. Gandalf, I think, is okay, actually. There are nicer Gandalfs. I think that they still sell them in metal. But there are nicer Gandalfs, but that one's okay. So what's that? 3, maybe 4 of the 9 that are acceptable in my eyes? The Fellowship of the Ring and Thorin's Company hero boxes should be the best looking miniatures you design for this game. I think that they're some of the worst of the current boxes, which is... yeah. Yeah, no. A lot of this stuff we've looked at with a recent pre-order, I still don't understand the Woses, sorry. I just... No, I don't like the models. How you can charge $67.50 for them? I don't know. They are the old metal ones from back in 2004, maybe 2005, I think they came out. A lot of the Khazad-dûm stuff, a lot of the Dwarven stuff is coming, which is cool. Prince Imril, we've talked about him at length. Beregond, I've always liked this model. He's metal. 12 quid, I think that's reasonable for a single hero. I will slam Games Workshop on price for a lot of stuff. But actually, a metal hero model, I know he's old. But I think a metal hero model is at 12 quid, it's passable. Beautiful terrain. Again, these are online only, which is a shame, but I understand why they were part of the launch box. But these new Faramir, Madril and Damrod, beautiful. I don't think, and the paint job and everything about them is done incredibly well, but I don't think the paint job does them justice. I think these sculpts are amazing. Oh, it's certainly not, it's not the paint job, it's the pictures. I don't think the pictures do them justice. Having seen them in the display at Warhammer World, incredible. And when I go down the Rangers of Gondor route, I'll be picking these up. Absolutely stunning, and the fact that you can change them to having masonry terrain or woodland terrain is just a nice little touch. A lot of the new stuff is great. I mean, Prince Imril. Let's click on him. He looks incredible. Absolutely wonderfully done. Characterful poses. Can we get some more like that, like these Rangers? Less like that, please. Games Workshop. Boromir mounted, that's an old model, it still holds up. This is my favourite Gollum on the rock. So these are metal, these models are 2002, they'll come out with the 2 towers. I think they still hold up. I think they're incredible. And a lot of this might be nostalgia. I'm happy to take that one on the chin. But I think these are great. I really do, and I wonder how well they'll paint up now. Elendil and Isildur, I would have thought that they would have redone these, especially with War of the Ring, which I know we don't talk... Rings of Power, sorry, not War of the Ring. Rings of Power. I know we don't talk about it because it's terrible. Name recognition is a thing. Yes, they're at the start. Last Alliance needs a huge refresh anyway. But I think these still hold up. They're metal, they're old metal models from 2001. But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with them. The new Rivendell was nicely done. I don't know why he comes with a banner bearer. But this is the kind of models that they can do with their new sculpting stuff. When we get to Glorfindel, you will hear me swoon. Glorfindel is one of the best miniatures they have designed, and his resin. I think the new Elrond is very good. Khazad, I think we've looked at recently. Is that really 8 models for $37.50? They're metal, yeah. But I think they still hold up. I think they're still very nice models. I quite like these as well. Towards the end of the journey. That's not a bad golem either. They're nicely painted too. But this is probably the nostalgia kicking in as well. Treebeard. Those can we see Merry and Pippin on their own? Yeah. I think they are much better than the Fellowship ones. They're really nice. What is he? 52.50. He's going to be plastic, right? Yeah, he's plastic. Treebeard looks amazing. This must be a recent model, because I don't think I've seen this one before. Well, not knowingly. You can do him without as well. Cool. Yeah, he's stunning. Incredible model. This is what the new models they can do. And was it Beachbone as well? Amazing. The Gladrim Elf Commanders, they're metal. I don't know why they're $31.50. New Eomer is stunning. We've probably talked about him previously, but that model and the options that it comes with are amazing. Boromir, Captain of the White Tower. It's an old model, but yeah, you've got options with him if you want. I don't know why you wouldn't take the banner, but just amazing. Really fits the character that he's doing. His rules are great as well. Is he still metal? 3 metal miniatures, yeah. Yeah, but I don't think you could make a better one. I mean, they probably could. They have the design ability to make a better one. But I think that just captures Boromir, Captain of the White Tower, wonderfully. Rohan Royal Guard. So, on foot, they're 3 for £11. On horseback, because they're all metal, I think the horses are metal as well. No, the horses are plastic. It's just metal Royal Guard riders. Almost 40 quid. And I'd argue that these are pivotal units for a Rohan army, whichever way you go. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I think they hold up. I think that they look good. Gamling and Hammer, I think they hold up. Gamling, I would say, is fairly good for Rohan as well. Defenders of Helm's Deep, they're resin. They are beautiful models. Absolutely beautiful models, and they look just like their characters from the film. This spin, goddammit. Yeah, I really like these. I might pick them up actually. If I'm ever down at Warhammer World and they're in stock, I'll pick them up. Old Elrond, I think that this was plastic. No, they're resin. They just look like ass. They really look terrible. And that's probably because we have a new Elrond who looks so much better. Just use that model. Even if you don't give him heavy armor, if that's an option, I can't remember. I don't know what you do with Linda. But no, just no. Looks terrible. Elladan Elrohir, Elrond's twin sons. I think these still hold up. I really miss their non-armoured, dual-wielding swords like Elven Blades models. But I think these still hold up. I think that they're pretty good. The posing is pretty good. They have fun rules. Yeah, I quite like these. I don't know if I'd want to pick them up at $37.50. But what I will say $37.50 for Elladan Elrohir is better value than $37.50 for 3 Rohan Royal Guard. Vagabonds of the Shire, yeah, they're resin, they look fine. Citadel Guard, these guys are plastic, are they not? They're metal. Wait, hold on. They're metal. 6 metal miniatures for £28. I'm okay with that price as well, to be honest. They're old sculpts. I still think they hold up. I think these are stunning. They're a good unit as well. I think these are beautiful. I think the different poses is really nice. I don't think 28 is bad. I was just checking that they were 28 and there were 6 of them, because the Rangers of the North, 6 models, same idea, much more expensive than that. Gandalf we've seen, Army of the Dead, Banner Bearer, yeah, I think what we need to see moving forward, and part of this video is me just musing, you've probably figured that out now. And they didn't do it with the Warriors of Rohan, so I don't think it will happen. In fact, I'm going to be adamant that it doesn't happen. But we need to see standard bearers and musicians hold and, honestly, command as well. Like commanders, captains. All of this stuff needs to be in the plastic warrior sprue as well. When you have your plastic models, you can make 24 plastic warriors, or you can make, what would it be, 23, no, 21 with your 3 slightly more special character units in there, with the banner, the musician, and the captain. I suppose the captain attaches, so the captain can be separate. I just think some of these prices are ridiculous for what they are. Honestly, I didn't realise it was this bad. This is another 6 metal models for 28 quid. Fiefdoms, I'm not sure. I think that their rules are going to be in the armies of Middle-earth. Yeah, armies of Lord of the Rings. Okay, I take it back. I think they hold up. I think they're pretty good. I'll have to check out their rules. Eowyn and Merry are really nice sculpts. I'm not sure about the photos, but I think that they're pretty good. Very characterful models. Elfhelm's a nice model. He is resin, that's why he's so... yeah, he's resin. That's why he's so expensive, but I think he's a really nice model. He looks very elite. He looks slightly different, but he still fits in with the Rohan vibe. Really, really nice. I think this is some of the best models they've done, certainly of these characters. 3 hunters with Aragorn, sorry, don't know why I said it like that. Legolas, and Gimli. I think these are great. And Gimli has so much going on, so many axes, they all have their elven cloaks. Yeah, beautiful box. More like that, please. Gandalf the White and Pippin. Very, very good models as well. You can build in with and without Pippin as well. Númenórean Bowmen, 3 of them, 1150. I think that's okay. I think they hold up, considering how old they are. I think they really hold up, and I think that there needs to be a point. Yeah, they are metal. There needs to be a point where you want to paint a lot of Númenóreans. You want your characters to stand out, but troops, you just kind of want them to look uniform. That level of detail, and actually that design, works really well for them. Dwarf warriors, I was never a huge fan of these, but they absolutely do the job. They are plastic, yeah, 3150. 24 warriors in plastic, not really any customization options, but it's your 8, 8 and 8 is standard for whichever way the army can go. I don't think 3150 is too bad. If I'm honest, for 24 warriors, I think that's okay. Warriors of Minas Tirith. words out, put my teeth in. I think they still hold up. Some of the posing is slightly off. I would love to see them get a refresh. I really would. But again, I don't think they're that bad. But they're another staple unit that should look pretty good. And they do. Rangers of Middle-earth. I'm on the fence. I know that these models are meant to be used as Gondorian Rangers, which is what they are, that's how they're designed, but they're also to fill in that gap of other Ranger models, other armies and things that can take archers, or lesser armoured warriors. They are just so Gondorian Rangers to me. But honestly, I think that they're pretty nice. I'd love to see an upgrade just because Faramir and his sort of command squad got just a stunning upgrade, and they could take that and do something with these. And the original metal Faramir's Rangers are some of the nicest archer models, some of the nicest Ranger models that they've done. They are absolutely just Rangers of Gondor. But that box, those characters were stunning. I don't think these are that bad. Old sprue design. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but old sprue design. Yeah, I think these are okay. I'd love to see, just because I want to play Rangers and I don't want to be buying the metal ones and having the same 6 poses repeated throughout an army. I would love Rangers that look more like Rangers and less like Rangers of Gondor, but that's just me being picky. I think they're okay. Galadrim Knights, I think they're pretty good. They're plastic? Yeah. I don't think they're that bad, honestly. They are newer. I don't think they're that bad. I'm gonna kind of skip over Hobbits, because I don't think anybody plays Hobbits, do they? These are cool models. They are pricey. But Scouring of the Shire, I never had this box. But I think that they are pretty cool. They're all metal, and obviously you've got like the end state, the Hobbits returning to the Shire. But it's such a cool wizard Saruman vibe, but just a fantasy wizard. I love that. And then obviously Grima. Crawling around in the dirt where he just belongs. Is that meant to be Elrond? Is that really meant to be Elrond? Saruman looks pretty good. I do quite like that Galadriel. Oof. Yeah. For those 3 models, I didn't see if they were metal or plastic. I'm working on the idea that they're metal. They might be resin. They're resin. Yeah. No, too expensive. And no to that Elrond. Hobbits, I mean, all the Hobbits are fine. They're characterful, they're like Hobbits. Yeah, they work for me. I'll just do that as the blanket for Hobbits. Tom Bombadil and Goldberry, I think, absolutely capture those characters. I think that they're really fun and themey. Their roles are in armies of Middle-earth. I think that they work perfectly. I think that they're nice enough. They're metal. Yeah. Yeah, I quite like them. Dwarf Ballista looks fine. High Elf, is that really 4 for £20.50? They're resin? They're resin? Oh, no, they need to be plastic. The Last Alliance box needs to be split out between Númenóreans and High Elves. And they need to do a box of High Elf warriors with Elven blades, bows, and spear and shield in plastic, beautifully done in the modern style that they can do these amazing things with. That would also solve that problem, but Númenóreans need to as well, and you can have your archers, your spear and shield, and sword and shield. Guards of the Fountain Court, I think that they look fine. I don't think they need to do anything with them. They are metal. They're resin as well. Oof. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. They look good though. I wouldn't want to work with them, but they look good. There is so many different hobbits, isn't there? Wood Elf Sentinels I've never liked. This is the classic Elrond and Gil-galad. And they look their age. You know, compare that Elrond to the new Elrond. There was Elrond and the Banner-Bearer. But this is up for sale because this is the only way to get Gil-galad, isn't it? They look their age, but also I think part of that is the picture. I think that they're okay. Gil-galad needs a new plastic sculpt. That would be amazing if they did. He's an absolute beatstick in the game as well. So I'd love to see him updated, and you can just get rid of this because we have the better Elrond all the way up. No, not that one. Up here, that is the updated Elrond. I mean, you can see the difference, can't you? So much nicer. And again, that photo's blown out, so they're not even doing it justice on the website. But yeah, new Gil-galad. Maybe even Gil-galad with a elf command and then a new box of high elf troops would be a nice way to get around it. Although the Banner-Bearer is in the Elrond box. These will be metal, it's 2 models, 11 quid. You know what, I like these models. I think these still look great. And they are 24 years old. I'd happily pick them up if I was going to do high elves. Absolutely. Arwen, they never really got Arwen's face right. She's a model if you want to run her. I don't know if you would. Iron Guard. I think they're okay, you know. It's repeated models. It's four metal models. Well, it's 2 metal models repeated for £20.50, which is a bit pricey, but you know, okay, as a unit, I think they're fine. I've always liked the Warden team. They're resin. I thought they were metal. Maybe they used to be metal. They look okay. They look pretty good. They must have been redone at some point. But I think that they're pretty nice. They're in a Madin. Yeah. Dwarves. They look fine. Rider of the Dead. I think he's metal. He might be resin. I think he's metal. Random selection of 2, but they only show you a picture of one on their fancy new website. A whole other issue. It doesn't say what he's made of. At $11.50, he's going to be metal. I think they're fine because of how you paint them. It's not necessarily how they look, it's how you paint them that works for the Army of the Dead. But another thing I'd love to see is Army of the Dead spun out, so you'd have riders if you want. I don't actually think they have riders in the film though, do they? I don't know. I do like these. Blackroot Vale Commanders. I love that standard bearer, and I quite like that. And they're not, I suppose they are Gondorian Ranger style, but they are Gondorian sort of liege troops. I think they're nice. I think they still stack up. I think they would work really well as proxies. Not just Blackroot Vale Commanders, but also just captains and models for if you're using Rangers or Rangers of Gondor or whatever route you're going down with that. I think they'd work really well. I love these models. I think they still hold up, despite being ancient. I think they're great. I just cannot understand how the mounted versions of them is over 3 times the price. Osgiliath Veterans, I've always liked these as well. These are old metal models, but they're just so characterful, and you could have them in as captains and things if you weren't going to run them as Osgiliath Veterans. Really, really nice models. Done justice. They've aged well, I think. Before we touch on LSR, I'm sorry, Faramir. You never suited armor. Your brother would be very displeased to see you looking like that. No wonder his father ridiculed him. Warriors of Numenor with spears. Again, I think they hold up. You get 3. Well, it's a shame you only get 3, but I suppose it's 3 for that £11.50 price point, isn't it? I think these still stand. I think they're pretty good, just like the other Numenorian stuff. Let's do it. Resin Fine Cast Aragorn the Black Gate. Exactly the same pose as the original 2003 metal model, which was fine. At the time it worked. If there was ever a character that needed resculpting, doing in plastic and doing properly, it is the king of men in the 4th Age. Number 1 for me, and the one as soon as they do plastic King Elisar, I will do a Gondorian army. Warriors of Minas Tirith. The cavalry that we'll get to, I think they still sell them, they must do. Aragorn leading the charge. But no. I don't know how Aragorn hasn't had a new model. The terrain is lovely. This Rohan stuff, their own houses and things, it's just incredible. The Battlecry Trebuchet, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Minas Tirith Commanders, I don't remember these. They look pretty good. Multi-part metal, yeah. They fit perfectly with the other Minas Tirith stuff. I love these as well. These used to be more expensive. I think they had another model in with them. And I'm going to be doing Rohan. I will pick these up. I think that these are great. Unless they're resin. No, they're metal. Yeah, no, I think that these are great. $21.50 I think is a little bit pricey for a couple of points increase to a troop squad. But also, they're metal models. They were probably made to order at some point. They're labelled up as War of the Rohirrim as well. You can use them in both. But I think that they just fit perfectly with the Rohan vibe. Very nice. Lorien Elf Commanders. I've never liked the Lorien Elves. I just don't think they've captured elven faces right. They're metal. Yeah. I've never liked them. Even the Plastic Warriors box I've never liked. Now, Haldir. I remember Haldir, they're all metal. I remember Haldir in armour with a bow in the Defenders of Helm's Deep box. He was my favourite model. I do love this model of Haldir as well. I think that looks really good. The face on the one with the sword, and the sword pose is a bit wonky. I think with mine, I cut the arm off at the wrist and just angled the sword slightly differently. I either made it so it was like he was stabbing forward, or he was like it was just at an angle to him. It's a bit of a static pose, but I think Haldir looks great. I think $37.50 for 3 models of Haldir. I think that's a bit much, but beautiful models. The classic Galadriel and Celeborn. Oh. Oh. Galadriel's face is a little bit wonky, isn't it? I don't know. Celeborn looks great. Yeah, no, they're okay. I think they're okay. For the price, I don't think you can complain. I don't know how many people would run them. We really need, and it was pointed out in the comments, but we really need Celeborn in armour. I don't know why it hasn't happened. So this is the new stuff. This came out about a year ago, so this is for 2 Knights of Arnor. They are resin, they're £32. Oh! They're beautiful though. They are very nice models. If you've bought them... yeah. I can't fault people for buying them, in all honesty. I know that you probably couldn't have used them because the book was pointless for a while. But their rules are all included. I think they already have PDFs. But their rules are all included in the Armies of Middle-earth book. I really like these. I think these look really good. I just think they're expensive, and you would probably want a few of them. Heroes of Arnor, I really like as well. I love this model here. But at 45 quid for some resin models, no, I ain't paying that. I'm sorry, just not. But yeah, I think Aranarth is just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that's modern resin design as well. Their modern resin stuff is pretty good. It's just a stupidly high price. Eno was fun as well, but at 33 quid for a model I'm probably never going to use, I wouldn't pay. But he's resin, he's really nice, he's quite new. Kings of Men, they should not be 24 quid. They're old, very old, they're old metal models. They're fine. Honestly, they look fine. It's just a bit expensive. But they are hero models. Lords of the Dunedain, I do want this model. That one there of Halbrand in the back, because he's got the banner of the Arwen Star. Even Star, sorry. Arwen Even Star. Yeah, that's the only model I want. I could probably use him without the banner as another Ranger model. I wouldn't use Arathorn. He's too distinctive. And you can't use him with Aragorn, because Aragorn was like 3 when he died. But I think these models hold up. I think these models hold up. And I will have to buy them at some point, because that is a character that I need for my Rangers army. At this point I'm just waiting on the book to put that together, but yeah. I think they're okay. I just think they're expensive, but they are a made-to-order run, unless they're stock now. I don't really know. But the pricing for these characters is all over the place. It really is random, isn't it? Malbeth is... I think Malbeth still has some pretty good rules. Arvidui is fine. They're fine models. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with them. Warriors of Arnor Warband. These are metal. Yes? Yeah, metal. 12 warriors for almost 60 quid. These should be plastic, and then you're done with them. Make a plastic run. I suppose Arnor is a bit of a niche for people who are going to be running this stuff, but still. Very expensive for what they are. I think these came back as a made-to-order. I might be wrong on that. So these definitely came back in a made-to-order just before Christmas. I did a review of these models. I think they're great. I do love them. And honestly, I would consider picking up more of them if they weren't almost 40 quid. The only reason I bought these was because I had a £10 voucher for Games Workshop. Otherwise I wouldn't have bought them. I think they're far too expensive for what they are. I know that they're all heroes. I know you don't need a huge amount of them, but I think they're 25 points a model. I don't think they're that good in the new book. So I will probably be allying in a Rangers detachment into maybe Army of the Dead or something. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it yet. I need to actually see their rules. I haven't seen them. But I love these guys. I absolutely love these models. I never owned them before. I'm glad I own them now. I'm glad I didn't pay full price. Just ridiculous money, especially when for 28 quid there's other models that are basically the same. I don't know why they have such a high tax on. Same with the Dunedain of the North. So these, I don't think these look that good. I was looking at these because I could potentially use these as other members of the Grey Company. I like that model, to be honest. I think that one looks okay. I just don't like the others. That one's okay as well, actually. I don't think they're that great models, and especially at that price. But again, that's just me. Whereas these absolutely hit the vibe that I'm looking for. Beachbone, we've talked about him at length. He's £60, £50. I mean, he is a big chunk of resin. He is a big chunk of resin. But a stunning model. It shows you what they can do with modern design. Really good. Really, really good. Oh, we've gotten to the out of stock stuff now. So, actually... Oh, okay. Okay, that's not too bad. There's less than 50%, probably about 40% of the Middle-earth range for Lord of the Rings is out of stock. That's not too bad. And I think quite a lot of this stuff has rules. We'll talk about 300s mounted. That's an embarrassment. I think quite a lot of these have rules in the Armies of Middle-earth book as well, so they will have been selling recently. That's not bad. Knights of the Galadrim Court, I think that they're pretty good. They're resin though. Is it just 3? Detailing is really nice though. Yeah, they're pretty nice. I don't think I've properly looked at them. Rumil and Orifin. These are Haldi's brothers. Are they not? I thought that these were both Haldi's brothers. I mean, definitely Rumil is Haldi's brother. They're resin, did it say? Yeah, high quality resin. Always worries me a little bit when they say high quality resin. I don't think that they're that bad. The faces aren't terrible. They don't have that weird elven look that a lot of the metal stuff has. The poses are pretty nice. And I think if you were going to run a Lorien army, you would need these characters because you need the heroes. Yeah, they're good. They stand up pretty nicely. I don't think they're that bad price-wise either. I might get some criticism in the comments for that, but I think they're okay. Wardens of Gondor, I don't remember who the gatekeeper guy is. Húrin the Warden, known as Húrin the Tall. I think he used to be available on his own. I don't know where this guy's come from. But as a set of 3, they're resin. Let me double check. Yeah, resin. 44.50 is far too much for such niche characters as well. But then again, they are niche characters. They're not new. I don't think that they're that old, but they're not new. I think they look stunning. Really, really nice. So price aside, they're very good. Probably, well, certainly the best elven model that they create, or that they manufacture. But one of the best, most wonderfully detailed models. Yes, it's resin. You can see there the detailing on it, the bells, on the horse, everything. Yeah, Glorfindel is stunning. The only reason I don't own him, he's been around for a couple of years now. I've always almost bought him, but I'd just be terrified to paint him, in all honesty. His detail is amazing. One of the best models, not surprised he's out of stock. He's finally got rules. 7 months into this game, he finally has rules. No, he's not in the armies of... Oh, they're saying Armies of Lord of the Rings book as in the old Armies of Lord of the Rings book. Yeah, okay. No, that's wrong. He's in Armies of Middle-earth. The book that came out yesterday. That's where you'll find his rules. Hobbits, we kinda skip. 23 years ago, these models were great. They came in a box that was £25 with 5 other mounted models, some on wargs, and then like Theoden mounted, and they were to represent the warg attack on the way to Helm's Deep. Beautiful box. No idea why I know why I got rid of them, because I fell out of love with the hobby. But these models, just the 2 of them, which are models I would like to own. Not these, 1, I've owned them, and 2, they haven't aged that well, I don't think. There is no reason why any Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn models should be metal, and why they should be £42.50. That price is just shy of double what a box of them with 5 other characters would have cost. And it's the exact same models. The exact same models. I am embarrassed at that price for those models. I think Games Workshop should be 2. They're not, obviously. They don't give a fuck. They really don't, I don't think. As much as King LSR needs a new plastic, beautiful Prince Imrahil style model, 3 Hunters Mounted need redoing as well. And I think any members of the Fellowship should be in plastic. That should be the very baseline for the Middle-earth Lord of the Rings range. Honestly. Lords of the Fiefdoms, yeah, they're fine. They're old metal models. They're for characters that not many people know. Angbor the Fat. Was it Angbor the Fat? Doing here and... No, Forlong the Fat. Angbor and Doing here. I think they're fine. I think you could maybe give them a little bit of a refresh, but honestly, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. But they're such minor characters, you'd probably struggle to sell a lot of them, if that makes sense. This is a redone King of the Dead and Heralds. I think that they look pretty good. But again, a lot of this and a lot of these models, even with the old metal ones, the Army of the Dead of Dunharrow, whatever you want to call them, what sells these models isn't necessarily the sculpt. Obviously it helps, but it's the paint scheme and how you paint them and giving that ghostly glow. Yeah. You could do so much more with those models, I think. But they're really nice models. I can't fault them at all. Theoden King. Great. This is... I mean, he's out of stock because he's popular. He's pretty good on the tabletop. But an absolute stunning refresh. He was in the Pelennor Fields box from 6 years ago, I think it was. Absolutely stunning model. Loads of different options as well. You can make him with... I mean, look at the detail. Yeah, he's a plastic kit, as you'd expect. Beautiful, beautiful details. But you can do, yeah, helmeted or unhelmeted, sword, shield, whatever you want. Yeah, stunning. Absolutely stunning. Denethor and Irolas. That's actually not a bad Denethor model. Is that? That's not the metal one, is it? No, Denethor's been redone at some point because he is resin now. Yeah, I think they look pretty good actually. They're a bit pricey for what they are, but I think they're okay. Yeah, they're quite nice. Bog standard end. Plastic now? Yeah, multi-part plastic end. It looks like an end. I don't think it's that exciting pose-wise. I wonder how much play you've got with... I know you've got additional components. And you can have head swaps and things, which is good. I just wonder if you can maneuver the arms and legs a little bit. The legs look a little straight to me. But then they are trees. They're supposed to be a bit wooden. And I think an Ent for $31.50. Oh, there's only available online though, so you'd probably struggle to get it third party. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. So Warriors of the Last Alliance. This is the box that needs splitting. I think it holds up though. This is one of the first boxes that came out with Fellowship of the Ring. I think the archers look brilliant. I think the swordsmen look pretty good. And I've always loved Númenóreans with sword and board. Just split it out. You can see how old the sprue is there. It's just a classic old style GW single piece model sprue. I think High Elves, and if you're running Last Alliance, it's not really too much of a problem, but if you just want to run High Elves, you don't want 8 Númenóreans. If you're just wanting to run Númenóreans, you don't want 16 High Elves. So I think at some point when that gets refreshed, it will be refreshed as 2 boxes, and a lot of the other little bits and characters will disappear and just be bundled in with them. Warriors of the Dead. I think that these are newish plastic. Yeah. I think they're stunning. I really like these models. Absolutely stunning. They're not that new either, looking at that sprue. No, I like them. I can't fault them at all. Dwarf Rangers, I actually think that these are okay. I'll probably, if I was going to go down the Dwarf route, I would include some Dwarf Rangers. The posing's pretty good. I do like seeing an archer ready to fire, anchor point, ready to go kind of thing. Or just released. You've got axes, you've got dual axes, you've got bows. Yeah, nice. I think the cloaks look good. I think they have a bit of maneuverability to them. Some slight dynamics. Obviously you're going to get repeated stances, but no, I actually think they're pretty good. Knights of Dol Amroth. So these are plastic now. I remember them being metal. Yeah, you've got standard bearer and a musician in this box as well. Yes, you have. And some different shield designs so they can have a bit of uniqueness about them. The pictures probably don't do them justice, honestly. But I think these still look pretty good, and you put them next to the new Prince Imrahil, if they're all in the same paint scheme, you're not going to notice. I am very tempted to look at doing a Grief of Eomer army, and I think 6 of these with Prince Imrahil would be brilliant. And I think that'd be quite nice to paint because they've got a lot of flowing cloaks and things. You could do a lot of cool shading and stuff. Home stretch. Since the Warriors of Rohan were upgraded, wonderfully done. We need upgraded Riders of Rohan. These models would look absolutely fine. Can't believe I'm saying this. They'd look absolutely fine if they didn't have such stunning new warriors that they would be fielded with. Because the old Warriors of Rohan weren't bad at all. They desperately need a refresh now. But I actually think the Knights of Minas Tirith, and if this will change, if the Knights of Minas Tirith don't get refreshed, but the Warriors of Minas Tirith do, I'd say that we need a refresh. I think these still look pretty good. The poses are okay. Obviously I think it's 3 different horse designs that's repeated through the entire range. But I believe the horses were peri-sculpts. These might even have been peri-sculpts. And it might just be the nostalgia talking, but I think these look really good. And painted up well, you could do so much with them. Like painted to just a good standard, they would look amazing on the tabletop. Galadrim Warriors. I remember the metal ones from Helm's Deep. I never liked these. I think the faces are just off. But I think that's a me thing. But they're fine. Like, I don't like the faces, but I would never really run an elven army. I wouldn't run Galadrim either. And these probably look better in the flesh. I don't think the pictures do them justice. But yeah, they're fine. Honestly, they're fine. I've never liked these. I don't like the faces, but that might be how they're painted and how the pictures are taken as well. It could be any number of those factors. But it's the guy who's running at them with his arm covering half his face. It's like that pose there. Can we see him in here? Yeah, front and center there. He just looks a bit stupid. Blow up dolly. Yeah, I've just never liked these models. So if you are going to do Lorien Wood Elves, I don't know how you do it because you've effectively got armoured and then non-armoured. Would you just do those as elves? Well, no, because they can work with Mirkwood as well. Would you get rid of the Mirkwood Rangers and then just have these as a blend between the two? I don't know. I think that the Wood Elves need a nice refresh. Galadriel Mories are okay, but I think they need a refresh. Rohirrim, 7250. Jesus. I mean, he is a character, so he's the other character series. He was done for The Hobbit, wasn't he? So that was something that they tried with the Hobbit films. You know, I like him. Yeah, I like him. I don't know if you'd want him on that base all the time, but as a sculpt and as a display piece, I think he looks pretty good. Knights of Rivendell. Yeah, that one there, without the helmet, I don't love, but the rest of them, I think look pretty good. I think they hold up. Yeah, no, I think they're okay. They're not the worst mounted models out there. No, I think that they're fine. Obviously, I would love all of this stuff to be refreshed. I would love them to just go, yep, done this new edition, we hope it's going to last for years. We're not going to change the rules in a 3-year cycle because I hate that so much. Don't do it with this. Let this rulebook last for a while. And maybe do new models and refresh models and things and flesh out the range and make the range look as good as some of the newer stuff looks. I'd love them to do all of this stuff, but they're not. Let's be honest, it's not worth their time or the money that it would cost to do it. So you can't do everything, and I'm realistic of that, but those Knights of Rivendell, they look fine. Birchseed, he's resin. Yeah. Detailing is pretty nice. I'm always going to kick off about resin prices, and I don't like working with resin as a rule. But you know what? He's not bad, and if you're going to run Ents, you've got quite a bit of versatility. I think the resin stuff is expensive. I say that all the time. But you know what? Not bad. Definitely looks the part and brings a bit of individuality to the Ents. The Great Owls. Now these aren't the plastic ones, are they? They are plastic. I didn't realise they were that much. If you're going to run Eagles, I think these look pretty good. I don't know how new these sculpts are. Have we got a... No, we don't. This is the other thing I don't like about this website. Any of the newer models, they don't show sprue views. I love a good sprue view. But no, I think these Eagles are stunning. Two Eagles, 34 quid is probably not bad, actually. I didn't say that out loud, though. Círdan and Erestor. Círdan. He's fine. He's fine. I don't know why they've done them that way around. Erestor, who is a model who has now gone into Legends. He is one of my favourite models of the range. Stunning model. Absolutely stunning. I wish I'd have bought them when they came back out. And I'd just use him as a captain or something if I was going to use him. I just want to own him. But yeah, stunning. And I think that's us for the Lord of the Rings range. Part of me thinks because Erestor has gone to Legacies, I think that this is just getting reboxed as Círdan, because Círdan is in the Lord of the Rings Armies book. I believe. I think I checked that last time I talked about this. And I think he's just going to be boxed up on his own, slightly cheaper. Probably not much, but slightly cheaper. I think that's what's happening there, why he's out of stock. I'm not surprised that one's out of stock. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something different with Rohirrim, to be honest. This character series thing isn't something we see often, and it's not something they've been doing for the last few years at the very least. Certainly not with the new edition. So maybe there'll be a plastic Rohirrim at some point. But most of this range, unlike the Hobbit stuff, most of this range is pretty good. I can't really fault a lot of it. Some of it looks rough, a lot of it is elven faces and things. But as you saw, a lot of the things that I pushed back on was the price. We didn't look at these because I was going to look at them with the War of the Rohirrim section. As a design, some of them are different. Some of the poses are slightly different. They're not massively different. There's a lot of nods to the original box. But these models are stunning, and this is what they can do with their new design stuff. They're so clean, they're so crisp, the detail is wonderful, but it's not too much. It fits perfectly the Rohan vibe. I would love to see that for all troops choices, good and evil. Any box that is 24 models, not the Warriors of the Dead are fine, Army of the Dead stuff's fine. But can you imagine Numenorians in that Rohan design aesthetic? Keeping or a little nod to the original poses. You know, those guys, but just in plastic. The archers just in plastic. The elves, the wood elves, I think need quite a bit of love. I wouldn't mind new dwarf warriors. I think they're okay, but they're a bit dopey. I think rangers need a whole refresh. But then I'd like to see a new ranger kit that is plastic rangers, ideally. But no, on the whole, and I'm amazed how much of this is in stock, actually. On the whole, Lord of the Rings, that side of it, because it's the older models, like the new stuff, that's just off. It offends me every time I see it, it just makes me sad. But on the whole, this range is pretty good, and there's a lot of other models that they can bring out as made to order or redo if they want. I would love to see them redo stuff in plastic eventually. I know it's not a priority with them right now. Lord of the Rings isn't the game that it was, but with this new book I think it's going to start to grow in popularity again, and the tournament scene will get a bit more interesting. There'll be a lot more people playing it because they can use their older collections, or they hear and see people playing, get into it. I hope. But to do that you need some of these familiar characters to actually look good. If you walked into the shop as a big Lord of the Rings fan and saw the 3 hunters, I think you'd look at that and you'd go, wow, these look cool. If you walk in and see that Fellowship of the Ring, you think, yeah, nah, I'll buy a box of Space Marines. Honestly. But no, I mean, most of this stuff is pretty good. Alright, let's jump over to Lord of the Rings Evil and see what we have here. Dragons. Yes. What are they made of? They are plastic, right? Resin. Oh no. They still look beautiful. Again, I don't think the pictures do a lot of these models justice, but dragons and stuff, this is all the newer stuff that they re-released. Not new. It's re-releases from 20-year-old models or whatever. Still some beautiful models. I think the Lords of Umber are a bit pricey. They're just metal models. A lot of this stuff we've talked about. The Ballista's stunning. The new Gothmog. I don't like his face, but then it sort of fits the character, doesn't it? Yeah, I think he's fine. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as the Faramir and his command rangers. But I think, again, if you're doing Mordor army, certainly Pelennor Fields, that kind of thing, you're gonna want Gothmog. He's fine. He is. The Warg is stunning. The rest of it is fine. Easterling mounted commanders. I don't think I've ever seen those. At 26 for 2. Oh, they're resin. A lot of the Easterling stuff was resin, wasn't it? But they're beautiful. See, the Lord of the Rings stuff just looks better than the Hobbit stuff. I don't think I've ever seen the Goblin Prowlers either. So they're metal. Yeah, they're quite nice. But again, I think The Lord of the Rings is a design aesthetic that I just like. The Crebain, they're just crows on trees. It works perfectly. Black Riders, oh, I didn't know that they had them. So the New Witch King is stunning. All of the Easterling stuff is stunning. Shaku is looking his age, his face is a bit off, but it kind of works. If you want to go down that route with Wargs and Isengard stuff, you probably want him. Mordor Uruk-hai are fine, Grishnak and Snagger are fine. Saruman, is that a different Saruman? It is, they're plastic. Grima's plastic as well. I think they're stunning. I think they're really nice. And he comes with a Palantir. Very, very nice. I love all of the Uruk-hai. I don't think you could get... I mean, the Shaman... The Shaman is a bit weird. Yeah, I'm not that bothered about a Shaman, but I think the others are just stunning. Scouts and the Armoured lot. Love Lurtz's model. I want Lurtz with a bow back. That was my preferred Lurtz model, but that model for 22 years old, 24 years old, still holds up. Really, really nice. Vagabonds of the Shire, I think we've touched on. Ruffians, how are they so expensive? But they're fine. Again, they're just nameless, faceless characters that are to pad out an army. They are metal. Very expensive for what they are, I think. Serpent Guard poses don't look great, but the rest of them, the detailing is fine. They're old metal models, yeah. The Winged Nazgul are some of the best. God, that is an old sprue, isn't it? How old is this model? I think that they're some of the best Lord of the Rings models as well. They just look so cool. As a design, Wraiths on wings, brilliant. But also, they captured the models really, really well. The Balrog is stunning. Comes with options. He's plastic. Yeah, he's plastic. He is pricey, but he's a big chunk of points, I think. Definitely an old style sprue. But I don't actually know if you could make it better if you redid it, if I'm honest. I suppose look at that. Alright, it's an old model and I'm comparing an incredibly old model to a fairly new model with a lot more bits. But for board presence and sheer sort of scale and epic nature of the model, Redemptor Dreadnought and that, same price. Alright, there's a lot more parts to the Redemptor Dread, but there's probably a similar base size. Probably takes up a similar amount on the table. Yeah, I'm struggling to justify some of these prices, aren't I? So you know me. I'll fight back where I think that they're wrong. I remember when the Warhammer was 50 quid. But that said, for a very old plastic kit, 2004. For a very old plastic kit, I think it's amazing. And they are devastating on the battlefield as well. So if you want one, you can't really go wrong. Yes, it's pricey. It's very pricey. 74 hurts my soul a little bit, but it's a 21-year-old kit. Probably should never be £74. That's just because they whack the prices up a percentage without actually thinking about models. It's a blanket price rise every however many years. But I think it still holds up. I think the Haradrim in it still hold up. I'd like it to be 50, but I think it still holds up. Haradrim Warriors, again, I think that they hold up. 2004, but they hold up. Easterlings, stunning. I really want to do an Easterling army now. Yeah, really nice. Just nice models. The Haradrim Riders are they okay? Yeah. I think where a lot of this stuff falls down is modern technology and faces. So horses you can get away with, certainly with a really well painted or decently painted The detailing is there, it's just robes, it's, you know, back banners, but most of it is cloth. There's a little bit of armor, but because the faces are covered, you can get away with so much. I don't think they've aged badly at all. They're very nice models. Warg Riders. Again, they're okay. The wargs are looking a bit dated in their poses, and maybe the faces are slightly off. The orcs are okay. They're okay. I'd love a refresh. But I think also some of this is the painting, because it was probably done 20 years ago. We can probably see a spruce. No, they're not showing us the dates, are they? No. But they will probably be around Two Towers time, so yeah, I think they're okay for their age. I'd love a refresh, because you can use wargs and warg riders in so many armies. It would make sense. The Mordor orcs got a refresh, did they not? No, they didn't. They're still the old ones. But they work. The posing for some of the archers is a bit off. It's older style posing, but I think that they still work. Urukai Warriors, I'm going down memory lane here. We're probably looking at most of this stuff. I'll be honest, I'm going to warn you, this might be a very long video. I love these. I think these are great. They are, and I think this is the joy of the Lord of the Rings range, and when it came out, and the sculptors did a really good job. There's enough detail on your troop units for you to be able to make them pop a little bit and do interesting things, but it's not overwhelming. And you're going to be painting a lot of them, so you can get them done fairly quickly if you get down your colour scheme. Pretty much all of the models in the Lord of the Rings range, good and evil, follow that design aesthetic of you can go as detailed as you want with the paint scheme, but they're going to reward you however you want to do them and however quickly you want to get them painted. I think. Yeah, I can't fault any of this. The crossbowmen are a little bit static. You get 4 in a pack? Yeah, okay. But they're metal. No, they're resin now. I remember when they were metal. Yeah, they're okay. I love the Dead Marsh Spectres. I think they've perfectly captured. Okay, maybe the paint scheme is looking a bit aged now. But it kind of works because they're just ghostly dead things. Dragons, the Barrow-wights are fine. I suppose it's the Army of the Dead, but with a little bit more embellishment, isn't it? Yeah, no, I think they're pretty good. I'm not sure which armies you can run them in. Probably, is it Angmar, Arnor stuff? So, we know that the legacy stuff, all of the named ring wraiths have been got rid of. Obviously in favour of just using the 9 as they're depicted in the films, which... fine. But as models... as basically just black cloaked, dark silver armoured figures, I think these still hold up. I don't know if these have been refreshed. A lot of these look like the original Attack on Weathertop box. That one. I think that one as well. I think you got 4 ring wraiths in there with the Hobbits and Aragorn Strider with a flaming torch brand. I think that one was in it as well. But I mean, these models are 2001. I still think they look great. I mean, 57 quid is a bit expensive for 9 metal models that are 24 years old. But that's a recurring theme with this video, isn't it? Shelob needs a rework. And Sam's face is a bit wonky, but Sam the Brave, I do love Samwise the Brave. Frodo looks fine. I think this could be reworked. But I don't know how popular Shelob is, or the Brood of Shelob stuff is, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know if it needs to happen either, to be honest. It's passable. I love that Sauron model. I remember it when it was 20 quid. Shame there's only one picture, because you can see like the base that goes with him there is really well done as well. I remember having this model years ago. I think he works. He absolutely fits that Sauron pose from the first film. This is one of my favourite evil models as well. Is he plastic yet? He's resin. I thought he used to be plastic. Maybe he was metal. It's resin? He needs to be in plastic. I'd have 3 of them. I think he's great. I love this model. I love this. And it's that reminiscent of the Black Gate fight as well, isn't it? Where the troll goes after Aragorn. Or King Elisar. Mouth of Sauron, again, it's an old model. I think it does exactly what it needs to do. Maybe the pictures aren't the best, but they're also using old pictures. And yeah, it fits that character perfectly. Yeah, we can nitpick about some of the posing. Maybe the hand is a bit off and it's an old metal model. Yes, metal model. But it captures the character perfectly in that moment in the films, which is what they're going for. Uruk-hai Berserkers are stunning as well. Just the whole Uruk-hai range is very good. The Mumadd is great. Again, you can just paint them up with as much detail as you want. The Haradrim Commanders, I really like the Mori Goblins as well. We'll probably look at more of these at the troops. I think they still hold up, and I think with modern paint techniques and maybe even contrast, they would still look very good. That's quite expensive for 4 characters though. Suppose you get a drum so they can whack the price up. The Easterling stuff is lovely. The classic cave troll, this is not resin, is it? Tell me this isn't resin. Oh, it's metal. That's still metal, but the other one's resin? Wild. Still looks great, and it fits that iconic moment that you think of in the Mines of Moria. It's perfect. I love the trolls. The trolls that they sculpted for this range have always been stunning. Ballista's good. The Demolition Crew, I remember having them. They're all plastic. That's where you get your couple of other berserkers as well. The Mordor Catapult is great. That troll. That troll is great. He's just great. Gorbag and Shagrat. I mean, again, these are more narrative stuff. We've got Aldrak and Freset. The Heroes of Kandum. They're the last supplement that was only available for a couple of months. They are... We'll talk about the tribesmen in more detail when we look at the War of the Rohirrim stuff. They're stunning models. They're resin, sadly, but they're stunning models. I think these were new as well. Yeah, they were, because the shields are cool. They're basically Dark Oath in Lord of the Rings, or Lord of the Rings are Doom in Age of Sigmar, depends how you want to look at it. But the aesthetic is perfect. And I've just got the Armies of book. So this is a day after the last part of the video. These are just great. Stunning models. They fit that nomadic barbarian vibe. These are new as well, we don't really need to touch on them. I think we talked about them on the channel previously. Shades of Angmar are fine. Again, I think that just comes down to how you paint them. I'm surprised the Oathmaker is out of stock already, but I'm guessing a lot of people want him. Gulliver, the Terror of Arnor, is... I want to say 15 years old, maybe 18. The face is a bit wonky. A lot of the lower torso is a bit wonky as well, a bit awkward. But it still works. I think, again, depending on how you paint it, you could get a lot out of that model. He is plastic though. No, he's not. He's metal, right? He's metal. Yeah, so that's the original kit. Again, I don't think they'll sell many of them. Black Númenóreans. This is a favourite out there for people, I think. I think they still look very good. They are metal, yes. I think they still look very good. I hope that their rules are good. I haven't looked at it yet, but there's a lot of people who like the Black Númenóreans and that idea of things. Dragon Warriors are stunning. Black Dragon Warriors, all of this stuff. Really, really nice. The shamans and things that they did, I was never that sold on. Ruffians, they're fine. They actually look really good. They are resin, but they look really good. Okay, we may have found a troll that doesn't look great, but that's more the pose. That one's really good. Isengard or the drummer. Okay, lots of different options. He's got to be plastic. Multi-part plastic. Yeah, okay, I take it back. He's fine. And he looks like he'll be quite easy to customize the poses as well. Yeah, he's fine. I do like a troll. Wargs. Yeah, wargs need an update. Especially after Gothmog's warg. They definitely need an update. Morgul Knights. I don't think I've ever seen those. They're plastic. Yeah, they are. They're like the reverse of Dol Amroth, aren't they? I think they look pretty good. Not the best pictures. But they look pretty good. And they also, if you're looking for D&D stuff, and not necessarily Middle-earth, but that scale model, they'd be pretty good as just standard dark fantasy enemy riders, wouldn't they? Right. Let's touch on... Let's do Moria Goblins, because I'm expecting to take some flack for this. I think they still look great. That might be because they were in the starter set back in 2001. Yeah, you can argue the faces are a bit derpy, but they're still great. And they're plastic. But that's brew. I think they still hold up. I'd love to see all of the troops for all of the armies get refreshed. I hope I've made that clear. I think that they're great. I didn't know that Corsairs of Umbar had a plastic box. Posing is a little bit wonky, maybe even the size of them. I don't know what's going on there. That is a weird sculpt. But on the whole they look... I don't know what's going on there either. On the whole they look okay. They're passable. They're not the worst defenders. It's not Orange Company or Fellowship of the Ring. Love the Uruk-hai Scouts. I don't know if they got a refresh. I don't think they did, but I know that they were put in the battalion box. Morannon Orcs were always fine. Yeah, again, I think it's just the photos. Doesn't really do the models justice. Posing aside, it doesn't give us a date. No. I mean, these would be 2005, 2006, probably. If you think how they were designing stuff back then and the poses and what they could do, I think they still hold up now. I'd love to see them refreshed, but it's probably not going to happen. The Hill Trolls of Angmar are new, and they're resin, and they're 48 quid. But they do look pretty incredible, don't they? Really, really nice. I think they're in the Armies of Middle-earth book. Doesn't say. I think they look really good, and I think you could use them as just trolls and things. But these are werewolves, but also, could you not? I suppose they're a bit bigger than wargs, aren't they? But they have that warg feeling. This is how they should do the wargs. So all in all, it's just really wargs that need a refresh, isn't it? Troops and things, but a lot of it, for now, and obviously if we're having this conversation 10 years down the line and we're still looking at these models, that's a whole different conversation. But for right now, for this new edition, for how sporadic the Lord of the Rings release, or the Middle-earth strategy battle game releases have been, and the fact that it took 7 months to get the final army book, I'm not mad. We've got it now, so it's fine. We can forget about that. But the fact that it's taken so long just to get all of the rules out for all of these models, I think we can let them off for not updating all of these models just yet. But what I want to see in the future is refreshes to this stuff. I want to see new characters. I want to see new designs. I don't necessarily want to focus on new characters, but a lot of the heroes, a lot of the captain models could be done with making plastic. All of the troops need refreshes. all of the big named unique heroes, outside of the ones that have been done, most of Rohan's been done, it's pretty good. Gothmog is fine. You can get away with the Rangers for now, Rangers of Gondor at least. But I'd like to see the big names. I know Shaku isn't a big name, but I'd like to see the big names done in plastic and redone and re-released. I mean, if they made a plastic Shaku, you'd have him mounted, you'd have him on foot. He would be Prince Imrahil price, so he'd be more expensive than that one, but he would just be a nicer kit. And off the back of that, to add an extra bit of value, just say it is a Warg Rider captain, but you've got a Shaku face and knife, and then with other options to make a generic captain. And go down that route, because that would be great. I would love a plastic Lurtz where you can make him with a bow, but you know, that's a nice to have, that's not a needed. There's other models that need it. But as a whole, I think the Lord of the Rings range, good and evil, still holds up. There's not much. I mean, I'd love a new Peter Jackson model, but he's only just been re-released. So maybe part of this re-release is that they're getting rid of this stuff to see how popular it is, make some space in the warehouse, and then they're going to resculpt if it's popular, or if people are wanting it, or if they're seeing a lot of play with the Corsairs lists in general. War of the Rohirrim, there's about 6 items in this, isn't there? But there is actually 6 items, what a guess. This is a real problem for me, because they were launching this whole new edition with this, and this box is incredible. I would say if you are looking to start War of the Rohirrim, not War of the Rohirrim, Middle-earth strategy battle game, and you want to go down either the War of the Rohirrim or the Rohan side, that box is a must, and it's brilliant value. The terrain is great, the models are great. I won't tag my review of the box at the end of this video. I'll do the Legacies one, but I have reviewed the box if you want a close look at the sprues. But these models are, for me, hit and miss. Warriors of Rohan, absolutely incredible. We need riders done in the same way. But these are that perfect blend of modern design yet nostalgic pose, connection to the older models. This is exactly what they should do. This is the blueprint for all of the troop refreshes going forward. Aleth and Hammer, and their options are amazing. There's so many different ways you can build them, but these guys, not only are they stunning models in their own right, but also they are perfect for kit bashing Rohan captains. So if you don't want to go War of the Rohirrim, say you want to do Pelennor Fields, Rohan Pelennor Fields, or Grief of Eomer for one of the new armies, this box gives you stuff to kit bash to make captains, and you've got your troops there. The only thing that you don't have in this box for the warriors is banners and musician. You can easily kit bash a captain on foot or whatever on there if you want, or you could use those models. Hera. I think the paint scheme on this doesn't do the model justice. I think it's the face. I'm not sure that the face is done well either. She looks like she's 50. She's supposed to be about 17 or 18. That one looks okay. I also think that the lighting on the picture is hilariously bad. Not that I'm a lighting expert, but look how blown out. This is a picture that was done at most 7 months ago. Well, maybe 9 months ago. No, 12 months ago. Because they had to get box art confirmed, licensing stuff, and yeah. So maybe these pictures were taken 12 months ago. They wouldn't picture a space marine like that. But you get options. You get the cloak, the with or without cloak. I think it's the same head. No, it looks like it's a slightly different head, or somebody else has painted that version. She is plastic. I don't mind the model. I'd like to see the sprues. I don't know why they don't show the sprues anymore. I'd like to see just how detailed that face is. I think that there's a lot of added stuff that makes it look old. Like that. That looks fine. She looks old there. But that's probably the lighting. That's probably also the painting as well. Now they've done it. I'm afraid to say. But she's fine. I quite like that model. I could use that model for other things. You could use that model as Hera. You could use it for other, like a D&D campaign or something. I think that that's fine. This one, I think, is hilariously bad. I mean, that shot. Alright, this is the 3D one. Everything about this model is great until you get to the face. I take it back. No, I take it back. That picture is crap. The 3D, like from there onwards, all of that pose is actually really cool. And how the robes are flowing. And the face there actually looks, yeah, it's the angle of that picture. I take it back, it's not as terrible as I thought. But again, like, why have we got two Hera models when we only have one Helm Hammerhand? And it's not one that you'd run in a tournament army or a narrative campaign army. I take it back. No, they've done a good job on that. I think that's the picture that lets that model down. I wouldn't buy it, but Helm Hammerhand, an iconic character in all of Lord of the Rings for many, many years. Not just with this War of the Rohirrim, but many, many years before. It's not a bad pose. I don't think it's a bad model. It captures his animated style. The beard's done well, the hair's done well. The paint scheme, I think, is painted really well. I like the blood and the bruising on his knuckles. Really, 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 really cool. It is quite a nice model. It's a very themey moment in the story model. Why do we not have him in armor? Why? I wasn't going to do this now. Armies of Lord of the Rings, but I've set myself off. So, right, this box is launched as War of the Rohirrim. So how about we take a look at the War of the Rohirrim profiles that are included in said army book that covers the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the new film. So all of that is the classic film stuff. So we have no picture of the model, and he used to have a resin model that was passable, but that's disappeared, which tells me we're getting a new one. But we do have a profile for Helm Hammerhand, King of Rohan, with his armor, and an option for an armored horse, in his full knightly, kingly regalia, which he looked cool in the animated thing. I think Helm Hammerhand is the best drawn character. He's the best looking character as well. But he has rules, he has no model, and you can't kit bash Helm Hammerhand. I mean, you could. If you're really good with green stuff, you could. But why is the King of Rohan, and what should be the central character of the film, not got a mounted and on foot armored model or a generic? You even see him fighting in that armor in the animated film. So why has he not got a model yet? It's not even been revealed. It's not been announced. We don't know it's coming. I'm assuming it's coming, and I'll touch on that why in a second. Well, one, he's got rules. So why would they make rules for a model they're not going to do? I reckon it's a licensing. I think they're contractually obliged to do one. I just think that they've had so many issues. I mean, Hera was shown off in December, Daughter of Helm, not the Bride of Death. She only released 2 days ago, but she'd been sitting, having been revealed for 7 months. Something's gone wrong there. Probably because the film didn't do very well. But Haleth and Hammer, obviously, they have models, they have profiles. Hera, Daughter of Helm. Olwyn, Shield Maiden of Rohan. If you've seen the film, you'll know who that is. She has a model. No, she doesn't. She has rules. I'm just reading her rules, actually. The rules aren't bad. She has some pretty nice rules. She's not a bad character either, to be honest. But she has rules, she has no model, and she'd be a really cool model. Why haven't we got that? Leaf, Page of Helm, he's been announced. We did a video on that a couple of months ago now. I'm amazed he's not been released yet. Maybe they're holding off. But here's the one that I want. I'm just double checking the other profiles. Yeah, that's all fine. Here's the one that I want. Freylaf, the first Marshal of the Riddermark, who's probably my favourite character in that film, and goes on to be the King of Rohan. And I think Theoden is of his line. Great character, looks really well. I don't know how you do him, because he has... Without giving away too much, I mean, it's a film no one's going to watch, isn't it? Let's be honest. Without giving away too much, he has two different types of armour. I'm not sure how you do it. I'd like to see both. If Hera can have two models, Freylaf can have two models. Why hasn't he got a model? He's a pretty big part in the film as well. And I would actually love to run... I might do Hera in it, but Hera's... she's okay. But I would do Haleth Hammer and Freylaf, and then a load of Riders of Rohan and Royal Guard. Maybe a couple of Royal Guard, but they're expensive, so we've touched on that already. But I would love to run that as a throwback War of the Rohirrim Rohan army. I just don't know why we don't have these characters. It seems ridiculous. But that is the entire range of the War of the Rohirrim, the range that launched this new edition, and up until 2 weeks ago, it was a couple of character models, because they are more commonly used elsewhere. We're on the home stretch. War of the Rohirrim, the evil army. They also only have 6, one of them being the starter set. Hill Tribes we've touched on. Again, in my review, I was glowing about these. These are incredible models. They are perfect village militia for other games. Their selection of different weapons and things is just usable across any type of fantasy game. For Hill Tribes and the Dunlendings, they are absolutely perfect. The models are wonderfully detailed with all the fur and the beards and the hair and the faces and flames. You would have a load of fun painting them or a load of fun contrasting them, depending on which route you wanted to go. But also you can do them as simple or as detailed as you want, because the detail isn't overpowering. It is just the right amount, like most, if not all, of the Lord of the Rings units. I mean, quite a few of these are out of stock. These have probably been out of stock for a while. Lord Thorn is just an incredible model. He's resin, which is a shame. He gets about 2 minutes in the film, I think. He's an incredible model, and for the evil side of this movie, he unlocks Traitor Rohan, which is a really, really cool thing. I think he's a beautiful model. Surprised he's out of stock. Frecker fits the character perfectly. He's resin as well, but I think he's wonderfully detailed. I'm working on the theory that, because I don't think they'd be the most popular characters, maybe Thorn, I still don't think this would be the most popular army. I reckon that's the initial print run of those done, probably. But it's the Hobbit where most of the out of stock stuff is, isn't it? Wolf and General Targ, I really like both of these models. Wolf is a little bit off, and I think he probably splits opinions quite a bit because he has that kind of anime pose. I really like him though. I think this picture doesn't do him justice. I think they're both great models. They're available in the start set, so if you have the start set, you already have them. You can't really kit bash them. Whereas Hammer and Heleth you can use for Rohan and just make them captains. There isn't I mean, you could make them chieftains. Targ would make a great chieftain. But at that point, you're probably going to be running Hill Tribes instead of... I don't know. I mean, that's a choice for you to make. But I think as models, they are incredibly nice. Not quite as much kit bash potential, but detail-wise and just very characterful models. Really, really cool. Shank and Rot and the Troll. I think Shank and Rot look a bit dopey. These are all resin, by the way. I'm not a big lover of these two. They have a really nice moment in the film. But the Snow Troll is perfect. Perfect. I said that in my reveal when we saw the article with these guys in. Yeah, I don't know where you can run them. I think they're only available in one army list. But what a troll. What a troll. Just stunning. If they weren't 48 quid in resin, I think they would have sold better. But also a problem, I think, with this whole range. Let's just have a quick look back at the good side. Yeah, none of their stuff. Oh, Bride of Death's out of stock. Her rules aren't terrible. But Bride of Death is the only one that's out of stock. Yeah, the only problem with this range, and the troops you can use anywhere, which is how they were designed, which is perfect. The characters for this range you're going to struggle with because while they're not terrible, it's a film that nobody really connected with. It's honestly a film we didn't need. The animated style didn't work for me, and the detailing was awful. I thought the character animation was pretty bad. And in general, the story was just bland. I expected more from it, which is my fault. So again, I think it was a licensing move. I think that they had to do War of the Rohirrim because it's all New Line and part of the deal is with New Line. So I think that this box is very good still, despite the characters included. This box is great value, and I'm not going to knock this box in any way. But I feel like this range is very much you will get the characters that we have to do, and there's not that many in the film, so the rules that you get in the book and the only two missing characters, once they're done, we're done. You don't need to think about it again. But we're not going to see much of an expansion on War of the Rohirrim. This was purely just a force for getting new plastic tribesmen out and getting new plastic warriors of Rohan out, I think. But on the whole, there is more in stock for this range than I thought there would. But I think, and we're looking at the Lord of the Rings good side just because this is where some of my favourite models are. Elfhelm looks like he's pretty good. I haven't fully checked his rules, but I've just been skimming through the book. He's looking very good, and I may pick Elfhelm up. I do love these models. I really love these models. I think the ranges are looking okay. They have done refreshes over time. We need troops, and we need probably heroes upgrading from metal and resin to plastic. Certainly the bigger named heroes. We need a new Fellowship of the Ring box. We need a new Thorin's Company. And this is conspiracy theory level. But I think Fellowship of the Ring and Thorin's Company have been out of stock for a while. I know it says temporarily out of stock, but I don't think that any of those notifications mean anything. I have a feeling we're going to get some sort of reveal now that the final rules book, rules book and then the Legacies rules is all out. I think we're going to get a final reveal for the summer of Middle-earth that's going to be new Fellowship and new Thorin's Company. I think they'll probably leave it there for now. They still have the third Battle of the Five Armies Hobbit scenarios to release in a couple of weeks. So that would be a really nice place to say, oh hey, we're doing a new Thorin's Company as well. So you can finally get these models that you haven't been able to get since we've done these scenarios. I think we're going to start to see quite a lot of the made-to-order stuff pop up back as stock as well, and just the old metal models will be there. I don't imagine there will be a new bolt thrower. I don't imagine there'll be new ballistas. I don't imagine Khazad-dûm is going to get new stuff. I would be very surprised if Hobbit's got new stuff. I think... I don't know how you do it. I'd be happy, this isn't the best way to do it, but I'd be happy with a box of 3 Rohan Royal Knights, Rohan Royal Guard, but you get 3 on horse and then 3 on foot for maybe 35 quid, that sort of price mark, and that would get rid of those old metal models. But I think they, price aside, I think both mounted and on foot still stack up. I would love to see the command stuff, all of the armies, go plastic. I don't think we'll ever get new Warriors of the Fiefdoms. The Sunday preview is bringing back made to order for the classic Knights of Dol Amroth, Swan Knights on foot, which we don't have in this range. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a box of plastic Dol Amroth Knights on foot, to be honest. Were they out of stock? I'd love new ranges. It won't happen, but I'd love new ranges. Yeah, they were out of stock. Yeah, so this is the funny thing with Lord of the Rings and how they deal with cavalry. There is a chance when you're shooting cavalry or fighting cavalry, not fighting, but shooting cavalry, that you can kill the horse, and then you have an unmounted rider. In the standard range for Middle-earth strategy battle game, pretty much every mounted model has a counterpart on foot in another box, or is available separately somewhere. Not the Knights of Dol Amroth. Now, they're putting the metal ones up for made to order, but these are plastic, so that's a bit different. I don't know how different the detailing is, because the Swan Knights still look amazing. But I think at some point, mind you, would they not have announced it when Imrahil went on preview? But I think at some point we're going to get mounted Knights of Dol Amroth as a standard product, so that you can do that. But I just love basic troops refreshes, and quite a few of the big named heroes that haven't already been done, I'd love them refreshed as well. Something is going to happen with Círdan, because Eristor isn't available anymore, so they're going to get rid of that as quick as they can. Maybe Círdan is going to come out on his own, but it might also be that they give him the Elrond treatment and you get Círdan and another character and the character mounted in a box that's plastic, potentially. I'd love a new Haldir. I think Lorien needs a refresh. I think we need an armoured Celeborn. We definitely need a new King Elisar. The other Faramir model is actually up for made to order. It's one that I didn't know, Captain of Illithin I think it was. It's so much nicer than that model. That model just needs to go, but armoured Faramir on horse to lead the charge for Gondor would be a nice upgrade. I think we're going to see some movement with Númenóreans and High Elves for the Last Alliance. I think they're going to be split off, and you'll get a box of 24 elves and a box of 24 men. I think that's quite an easy win, because while it doesn't fit the design of Rings of Power, and Rings of Power is not great, there is still that element of hype for Lord of the Rings with Rings of Power going on. Rings of Power probably has fans somewhere. I don't think I've ever met one, but still, it probably has fans. It's not terrible. Season 2 wasn't as atrocious as I thought it was going to be. But there is still that lingering in the background knowledge of Lord of the Rings stuff going on at Amazon. And you could quite nicely do the Gil-galad and the High Elves and the Númenóreans refresh and just release it around a similar time that Season 3 comes out, and that would be great. I would consider picking up High Elves and doing a Last Alliance army. I didn't realise there were so many Saruman models. Yeah, overall, I think the range is pretty good. Most of it still stacks up. But I am biased. I have that nostalgic vibe of, oh, I remember these models from years ago. That's another reason why I don't own a lot of these models, because once I've got rid of them and then I've looked at them and thought, I wouldn't mind doing that, I've seen the price and it's put me off buying them again, because I'm buying the same thing I had 20 years ago and I'm just paying more for the privilege. But that's just how it goes. The other thing I wanted to touch on finally, battle hosts. We have Isengard, we have Mordor, and we have Minas Tirith. The Rohan one had 24 warriors of Rohan and 6 riders of Rohan in it. And I think it was Eomer. Probably still available from third parties. And if you picked it up, it's a pretty good start, in all honesty. But it is the older warriors of Rohan that are not available anymore. That battle host, was stripped pretty much at the same point that the War of the Rohirrim box came out, and it hasn't been replaced with anything. I'm taking that as a nod to new Riders of Rohan are coming. I know that's a stretch, but that's just what I want to see. I really want plastic Bree Hunters mounted. It needs to happen. Build the Ponies disappeared as well. Did we see Build the Pony when we went through the good side? I wouldn't mind the new Arwen either. I don't know how many armies would use her, but I wouldn't mind a plastic Arwen. If they did a plastic Gilgalad... Can Gilgalad take a horse? Let's have a look. No, he can't. Because if you did a plastic Gilgalad mounted and on... I mean, they could just release rules for his horse. In a Rata, you just say, add this to his profile. Job done. But that would be a nice way of getting around it, and he does need a refresh. The armor's nice, but the face is a bit... It's the elven faces. Like I say, I don't think anything will happen with the Hobbits. The Dwarves might get some love, because there's a lot of Dwarven players out there, I think, with the new books. We're going to start playing the game again. Yeah, I think I quite like Elfhelm. I think I might pick him up for my Rohan army when that eventually takes shape. But on the whole, it's not a bad range, but it is partly for the nostalgia feels. I do think that we need some changes, some updates. I don't know how you'd go about new models. You can obviously dive into the annals of the Tolkien stuff. There is, as we've seen with other models that they've done and timelines that they've explored, they can probably still go through First Age, Second Age. Depending on how it's done, Second Age might be tough with Rings of Power going on, but I'm sure a deal can be done with Amazon, who are also doing a Warhammer 40,000 or some Warhammer TV stuff with Henry Cavill and Games Workshop. So you might actually get something from the Rings of Power era if they can strike a deal, if they haven't already. But aside from Fellowship of the Ring and Thorin's Company, I think most of the other stuff stands up. I still don't like the Hobbit range. A lot of the Hobbit stuff needs reworking. In fact, were we about 50% of the Hobbit range I didn't like? And part of that is because I don't like those films. I don't think they do the Hobbit justice. I'd love to see them redone, see what they do. If they get the models right, it might even entice me to look at the rules and play them. But on the whole, it's not a bad range, and I thought there'd be a lot more out of stock than there is. But I think it's telling that Fellowship of the Ring and Thorin's Company have both been out of stock for a very long time. So I think the next preview or reveal article that we get from Middle-earth is going to be one of those two. I'm probably wrong, I usually am. But let me know what you think in the comments. I'm more interested to know which armies you think need a bit of love. Either new units, and let me know what you think they should be, or which models need a refresh for either armies you're playing or armies you'd love to play, but they're just not that great looking, or they're just too expensive, and a refresh is needed. So let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.